kiss for you.
Crystals of Atlan is a fascinating game because it's awful. It's a horrible game. You shouldn't play it. But it's awful in a way that I originally expected, like an old school bad mobile game to be, more, I guess, appropriately. And the reason I mention that is because my first impression of this game was that, while it was a free-to-play, anime-style mobile MMO, that it wouldn't have any of the, like, more, I guess, traditional, as of now, gacha elements in it. I thought it was like an old school MMO style thing, free to play, where it would have like loot boxes and energy systems and pay to win elements and that kind of thing, and it would forego the gacha elements. And the original, premise of the video was going to be saying, hey, this isn't a gacha game, and how weird it was to have like an old school, just bad mobile game that wasn't a gacha game. And then I got to the gacha elements, and I was like, oh my god, so this just has everything, in terms of how bad it ends up being. So as a kind of starter, again, games that are confusing, I like to kind of describe them the best way that I can in terms of what this game actually is, so that everyone's on the same page. Crystals of Atlan is a level-based action MMO, similar to, I would say, something like Zenless Zone Zero or other level-based action games, with other players that you can do, I guess, raid or co-op content with, as well as there is a PvP side. Most of the story campaign involves going through, selected levels, and then beating a boss at the end in order to get materials enough to be able to upgrade your gear and all that. Okay, so that's kind of what the game is. And the reason I say this is like an old school bad mobile game is because a large quantity of mobile games before Gacha took over were this. They were kind of level or stage-based games where you would grind a bunch of monsters to be able to get enough gear to be able to go to, higher level areas, and you would a lot of the time interact with other players doing the same thing. And that is what this game is, and that can describe some other games, right? Most MMOs are sort of designed around that idea. Zenless Zone Zero, for the most comparable, like, gacha game, is also that. But the issue is, the reason this game sucks is, we'll get to the monetization in a second. This is an extremely rough game because everything you'd expect to be good because of the gacha money that these developers have isn't. It does not have good production value or cutscenes. The story is not interesting. The animations are rough. There's very little other things to do beyond the PvP or story elements. The combat quality just isn't up to par with everything else. The music is not good. The PC port is not good. There's a lot of things that you kind of expect from these developers nowadays, ever since Genshin Impact, that just aren't here. And so when comparing this game and trying to figure out kind of where it lands, this feels the most similar to Zenless Zone Zero, except Zenless Zone Zero has the production quality and the story quality and the things to do in the combat elements and intrigue, and the music that kind of back up all those systems and back up the gacha system to make it worth playing. This has absolutely none of that, and what you're seeing on screen now is literally the loop. You start in, you go through a story mission, which is just a couple of like little zones, little actual levels or areas. You beat the monsters with your abilities, you go to the next one, you beat the boss, and that's it, and you get some materials that you end up having to grind for. And that is kind of the setup, and then there's obviously some co-op stuff later on, and then some PvP, obviously. But let's talk about the monetization, because in gacha games, there's typically three ways gacha games are making money. The actual gacha wishes themselves, a sub, usually it's about $5 to $8 a month, that just gives you some of the premium currency for you to buy stuff, and then a battle pass, $10 a month standard battle pass thing. You know how those work by now. And most gacha games rely on those three things. They might have a store that offers some other benefits, but those benefits are usually kind of segregated to the like extras menu, in terms of like, if you do a wish and you get a duplicate, you get some like dust or something that can be used to buy extra items, right? It's typically how that goes. Zenless Zone Zero has a store that's a little bit more useful in terms of things you can get, but pretty much the main progression model of gacha games is the gacha, and then the other things for spending money are, battle pass and sub, and these kind of recurring payment methods. This game has the gacha elements, has the $5 to $8 a month sub thing, and has the battle pass. It also has loot box based reward systems, an energy system, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, a BDO style chant based upgrade system where you can use modifiers to it to increase or decrease, in quotes, your chance of failure, right? Increase your ability to get a successful enchant, basically. So it took all the worst things from random loot boxes and annoying energy systems to that, equipment-based chance upgrade, and it has the Gacha submodel and battle pass. And with that, another thing I'll put on here is not only does it have all that, but the store isn't just, a store with the extra stuff that you didn't get from Gacha. No, you can buy revives in this goddamn game with actual money. You can, throw money at the screen, and you'll be able to get, either through the ability of Gacha, just get a bunch of duplicates that give you the dust that you can use to buy revives. You can buy revives. And so you have the loot box stuff. I don't know if you can buy loot boxes in the game itself, but the loot box randomization of the elements effectively means what you can do is need to grind for the loot boxes. It's not a guarantee item drop for things, right? They're random. So you have that energy, which you can obviously pay to, re-up effectively, so you can keep going. And the BDO thing's just so bad, because sometimes you'll see a game like Throwing Liberty has one of these, right? It has a paid auction house, and it has the BDO upgrade style things, but you'll never fail an upgrade. It'll just go varying levels, right? So BDO Throwing Liberty kind of subsists off that style of chance system, and its battle pass, and it has a store, but you can't buy any of the things in the store. So the 3 models there, right, is the upgrade, the battle pass, and the auction house. And this just has everything, right? And it's so annoying that it has everything, because this doesn't really feel like a game. All the benefits like Zone Zero that you'd expect from this game don't exist, and are replaced by other players. The only benefit you could say that this game has is it separates the PvP and the dungeon stuff. So if you're doing campaign things or co-op events, that gear cannot be used for PvP. So it is technically fair in that regard of the PvP is balanced, if you will. But that really doesn't matter when all the other things are in place. It just feels insulting to have a game like this, that of this scale, if you will, asking all this money and all these things, when there's other games that do significantly more with significantly less headache. And that's ultimately why I'm saying that this is an old school shit MMO game, is because that's what they are. That's what these used to be, is these just monotonous grind fests where you go into an area, you just kill a bunch of stuff to grind to the next thing, and there's no engaging systems really beyond that, and it's just filled to the brim with stuff you can spend money on. It's not only not valuing your time, it doesn't even, it's negative value. It's sucking away the parts of the game that are pretty decent, like the class selection and how that works, and some of the combat stuff is pretty cool, right? Like the class I'm using for the girl with the whip that has a phantom thing behind her that can do scythe actions, that's pretty cool, right? And it can go into 2 things, and the skill upgrade stuff is pretty decent, but that gets just completely obliterated by every other choice in the game. It's they didn't bother with the world building or any of this stuff. As I mentioned, the PC port is bad, so it's not even fun to crank the settings on it. There's so many other games you could be playing that are free to play that are actually decent, like Zenless, like Star Rail, although that's getting into power creep stuff. I'm playing another called Etheria Restart that seems to be pretty good, so I'll have a video on that one. Wuthering Waves, even some lower level, if you will, games like Frontline 2 or any of the other mech games or Nikki. All those are better uses of your time and or money than this game. And really, as you're seeing here, it just goes through the loop. That loop you're seeing of entering the stage, beating the boss, going back to the thing, upgrading some stuff, and going in again with some PvP is the entire game. And obviously it's a mobile game, so you want kind of that bite-sized things, but there's other mobile games you can do that with. And I'm gonna get to this in the Etheria video, but it's okay to have things that are similar to other games if you have unique stuff of your own that makes people want to play it. And Etheria is like that. Etheria is just Honkai Star Rail, but a little bit more interesting, at least from my perspective, in terms of a story and setting option, right? But everything else of that game is pretty much Star Rail. But if you want a Star Rail-like game that is not as focused on kind of the annoying aspects of Star Rail and doesn't have the power creep yet, you're going to like Etheria. I can't think of a reason you would want to play this game and the things that make this game unique. I just don't have something that I'm yes, what makes this game unique is worth going through all this other stuff for. So, in that regard, I don't think you should play this game. I think it's awful, but I did want to kind of talk about it because at least originally it reminded me of these old school bad mobile games we used to get before the Gacha stuff took over. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully you kind of learned about this game through, you probably learned about it through the Summer Game Fest when it had a collab with One Punch Man. That's how I learned about it. I'm like, hi, I wonder what this game is. Oh, it's an MMO? Okay, let me try it. Oh, it's horrible? Oh, that's unfortunate. So I, like many other people, heard about this game through that. It isn't an old game, although it seems there's some conflicting info on that. It launched in 2021 in China, and then eventually made its way over here. And considering no one's talked about it, I can't imagine that too many people are that impressed or playing it. Although it does have very good mobile game ratings, which is surprisingly harder than you might think, considering a lot of the review bombing and stuff that happens on mobile games. A lot of mobile games are very hard to get anything above like a 4.5. So I think this is something like a 4.8 right now, which is ridiculous because it's awful. But yeah, so just be worried. Obviously, you can check this game out if you're interested. It is free. The other thing that's annoying about the game, it's not on any of the stores. It's not on Steam. It's not on Epic. You have to download it through their own PC launcher, which just feels ridiculous in a time and age when a lot of games just are. These kind of games tend to be on Epic because of the revenue split. But like all Genshin and Star Rail and ZZ are on Epic. Wuthering Waves is on Epic, Infinity Nikki is on Epic. A lot of these games should be on Epic, and it just makes a convenient place to download. This is not, and so you have to actually go to their website. I don't believe you have to make an account, which is good, although I'm trying to remember. I think you may have to make an account. It might depend on if you're on console or not, and like what region you're in, but yeah. None of this game is worth really playing, and there's plenty of other games you should check out. Just other MMOs, even in general, that you should check out way beyond this game. So if you found that interesting and want to see more of this on the channel, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to all that, and I'll see everyone in the next video.